Alright, welcome back, and let's talk about the collections framework, and let's get started with the list interface. So I'm going to create a new class, and I'm going to call this lists. I'm going to make it plural. Make sure you make it plural because we're going to implement the list class, and so we can't have there be an ambiguity. We're going to have a main. Okay, so let's get started right away. And to create a collection, so I'm going to say create a collection, or I say define. First we need to define it, which we'd say we want an array list, and we're going to call it cities, and it's going to equal a new array list. Okay, now we're going to bring in the imports, and because this is an object, we're going to actually give it the empty constructor. Okay, so I'm going to skip some technical things here. Maybe I'll do another video later, but we want to say this array list is going to be of string. So the collections framework can actually take anything we throw at it if we don't specify. But by using generics, we're actually specifying we want to actually have this be a list of strings. So that's how we want to do this. Okay, so right now, let's say we want to add some elements. So notice right away what we did not do, come back to arrays, we are not initializing, we're not saying the size of it, but right away we just add elements. And this is because we're using the collections framework, which is actually classes and interfaces which have API methods. So if we type in cities, hit dot, you see all these methods that are now available to us because we're working with a collection. So what we want to do is add. So adding elements is as simple as using the add method. So we want to add, let's say, Cleveland. Let's add a couple methods here. Cities.add. We want to add Toronto. We want to add say Chicago, and we'll do one more. We'll add Miami. Okay, so that's very easy. Notice we didn't define the size at the beginning, but it's actually growing as we're adding elements. And so we can say sysout, or let's say here, what we want to do is let's iterate through the collection. Okay, so to do that, we'll do the for each. So for each what in what. So for each string city in cities, we want to print the city. So we can run this, and there we go. Okay, so again, the for each took care of iterating through each element, and we knew how many elements were in there from by how big the cities was. We can also then say get the size, so we'll say integer size equals cities dot, again, so for arrays it's dot length, but the list, the collections, has a method size which returns the number of elements in the collection. So we'll say there are so many elements in the collection. Run this here. There we go. Okay, very good. We can also retrieve specific elements. Okay, just like with arrays, we could access an element by an index. So also we can say, we can print out here cities dot get. We'll say to get the second element, which would be Chicago. Right, because we start at 0, so we can do 0, 1, 2, or 3. 0, 1, 2, or 3. There we go. Okay, what else can we do? We are adding, we can iterate, we can also we can remove. So we can do cities dot remove, and then we'll remove, let's say we want to remove Cleveland, the first one. Okay. Then now we can say, let's actually redefine size to equal cities dot size, And then now we can basically print out this same statement, but now we'll say now there are, and once again we can iterate through the entire collection. Here we go. So there are 4 elements. We grab Cleveland, then we actually remove Cleveland, so now we have just Toronto, Chicago, and Miami. And we also see that the size changed. So with arrays, this would flag some errors. We can definitely flag some errors. You can't remove elements in arrays, and you can't add new spaces in arrays. So hopefully you're seeing a little bit now the advantage of using collections, and we'll learn some more of these interfaces within the collections framework.